You have to remember that God has a plan. I know man has a plan, but God has a plan. And we're surrounded, inundated with people's plans. Somebody you work with, a business partner, a mayor, a city zoner, a developer, a governor, a senator, a congressman, a CEO, a professor, a scientist, a psychologist, a business tech. It doesn't matter. We can talk about people who have plans, the United Nations, Davos, the G7, the global elitists. And that's what you hear most people talking about. No one's talking about God. They don't fear God. See, the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. But everybody's talking everybody's plan, what they're doing, what he's doing, what she's doing, what they're doing, what them and him and trans are doing. But remember the story of Joseph when his brothers finally came to Egypt during the famine to get food. And they did not recognize Joseph. He was dressed like an Egyptian, walked like an Egyptian, had the makeup and the headgear and everything, and they hadn't seen him since he was a young boy, so they didn't recognize him at all. Thought they were talking to one of the lords, and he was as if he was Pharaoh. He was given that power. And when it came to finally reveal who Joseph was to his brothers after what they had done to him, mistreated him, jealous of him, tried to kill him, didn't, decide not to, and sell him into slavery. After all that they had put him through, lost his relationship with, never saw his mother again, left his father, ended up in prison falsely accused. And then by the stroke of the hand of the plan of God, from prison to the Lord of Pharaoh, the Lord of Egypt, as Pharaoh, his right hand. And his brothers have no idea who this man is that they have to bow in front of until Joseph reveals it. And they are in shock and, they're just losing it. And the guilt and the sadness and the anger. And Joseph has to calm them down. No. Don't worry. I'm not angry at you. You see, God had a plan. And so often we forget that. See, God had a plan, and that's how it was to happen. You remember Joseph knew in part because God had revealed to him, you're going to be amazing. People, including your own family, is going to bow before you. And of course, they were like, God, what are you talking about, you dreamer? Shut up, and we're going to bow. Who do you think you are? You're the little brunt. And Joseph kept that vision in his heart. He didn't know how it was going to come to pass. He may have even forgotten it was going to come to pass, particularly after being sold into slavery and then being falsely accused of a sexual crime and then being thrown in prison. Looked like it would never happen. And what happens? It was through that trial and for God-ordained reasons that prepared him for the dream he had as a child, but he didn't know how it was going to be accomplished. He had no idea how he was going to get there. He didn't know he would have to be almost murdered by his brothers, then sold into slavery, then falsely accused of a crime, then have to endure in prison for years. Had no idea. He didn't plan it. He didn't try to make it happen. You see, because it was God's plan, not Joseph's plan. I know many have made plans. You've made plans. You've got plans in your head, but it's not God's plan. You've got dreams, but is it the dream that God gave you or the one that you dreamed up for yourself? Seek the Lord and his plan. Ask him what's his dream for you. And let the Lord play out his plan in your life.